don't even remember what website I was visiting or what I was reading about, but I know that a few days ago I was reading something somewhere and I made a note to myself about this idea. I knew that this was going to become a video, so hear me out. Something that I saw while I was reading was, if you were a man for a day, what would you do? And I said to myself, I never thought about that. As a kid, I did think about what it would have been like if I would have been a boy, but I never really thought about what I would do if I were a man. So here I go. I'm going to talk about this on the fly, so I don't even know what I'm going to say. So let's see. Well, I think the first thing that I would do would be, it's kind of hard to tell because I need to know how old I would be. Would I be this age? Would I be a child? Would I be an older guy? Let's assume that I would be my current age. The first thing that I would want to do is, of course, admire my physique. Like, I'll have strength that I never associated with myself. I'll have resistance that I never associated with myself. Definitely physical things is something that I would go for. Like, what would my gym performance be like? What would my running performance be like? Riding a bike? I would try physically demanding things just for the heck of it, because that's something that I admire guys for, just how much stronger they are compared to me. So of course I would want to embrace that ability now that I'm actually super strong. But yeah, I think that would be immediately the first thing I do. I also feel like, of course, I'm going to inspect myself, like, oh, stuff is different, you know? So I would just have a lot of questions. Either I will find a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I currently have, or I'll be so confused. But I guess the weirdest thing would be going out in public and just being perceived differently. I'm going to be called sir instead of ma'am. I'm going to be a he, so if someone says, that guy over there, tell him to move his car because he is parked illegally, just to give an example. I wouldn't know that they're talking about me. But yeah, guys, that's really all that I can think of, really, that I would do if I was a man. So my initial thing is going to be, what am I? What happened to me? So of course I'm going to be checking myself and I'm going to have a lot of questions. But immediately I would be like, well, this can only mean one thing, that there's stuff that I can do now that I used to not be able to do before. So yeah, I guess really just go hardcore with everything. I guess cleaning my car would also be easier because sometimes I have to move the spare tire to vacuum the area where it's stored in, because leaves from the fall tend to get there. I haven't lifted the tire in about a year and a half now, 2 years. I've definitely gotten stronger since, but it was a challenge for me when I got it out the first time. So yeah, guys, this is not as complicated or exciting as I thought it would, but that's really all that I can think about that I would do if I was a man. I guess it's a good thing that I cannot imagine other things that I would do, because I don't expect to know everything about guys. I don't know what guys do except what they tell me that they do. Some of the guys have their very difficult jobs like lumber, truck driving, just physically demanding things. And I guess I gotta make a note to myself that just because I have physical strength, a little extra physical strength, doesn't mean that I'll have skills, like manly skills. I wouldn't know how to, say, fix my car if something happened to it. So I guess my willingness to learn would increase, because I know that I can actually be fit for it. But other than that, I don't know. Alright guys, What do you guys think? If you were the opposite, what would you do? I know that most of you folks who watch me are guys, so I'm going to ask you guys, what would you do if you were a woman for a day? And particularly, what would be the first thing that you do? I'm really curious to know, because I don't know if any of you guys have thought about this, and maybe you will say something that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, why didn't I say that? But honestly, that's all that I can think of. Yeah, I tried thinking for another second, but if I can't come up with anything now, that means I can't come up with anything later unless someone intervenes and gives me their opinion, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Alright guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.